let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's do this. So I am here and I made it. And the great thing about this is I now have a win to discuss. All right, let's talk about this win I just had. So right now with the software that I'm using, of course, there are some updates required, and I didn't do it before the time for me to go live. So hopefully that did not affect anyone's morning, but it does mean that our live will be, it'll go over time a little bit. Give me just 1 second. Let me go off camera for a moment. And it also means that this needs to be a little bit lighter. So let's get started. Once again, good morning, everyone. This is Shift Happens. I am Sina, your host. I'm very happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for getting up and coming in to sit and talk with me, or sit and listen to me talk for this next half hour. Here on this show, we are gearing up or winding down to start our day or continue it. And of course, we want to make sure that we focus on our wins and that we focus on being intentional in our goals, right? All right, so let's talk about intentional, because this morning it was my intention to be on time. It was also my intention to set this stream up and to have a few more followers, which I don't. You know what I noticed? When you go on live, if you just scroll through the lives on TikTok, people are doing like anything on live. And I find that to be very brave. I don't know what the requirements are to be on live on TikTok at the moment, but I think that if you can go on there and play your music or tell your jokes or do your thing, do it. Shoot, I mean, you know, whatever. All right, let's talk about our wins for the week. Midday magic. Midweek magic. We are on here. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. How many people got through without doing anything that will put us in direct misalignment with what our goal is? You didn't cuss out that coworker who got on your nerves. Your boss gave you a directive and you managed to do it with your poker face on, not your RBF. I'd say that's a win. Anyway, I think that being here and being focused is very helpful. I think that it is something that can do somebody some good somewhere, honey. Yep. So today on our show, we're going to talk about our wins. We're going to talk about routine setting life hacks. And we're going to talk about some good ideas for how to get to our yes. Well, maybe we won't go that far. But we'll definitely talk about our affirmation for the day as well. That's going to be coming up later on. And once again, I'd like to thank you guys for being here and sitting with me. The one or two of you that are in this space. It's fabulous. Okay, so we're going to skip all of that. And we are going to go to some of our affirmations that we picked up. So for some reason, I'm stuck on Winston Churchill quotes, and I can't say why that is, but I can say that he did write some pretty good stuff. I talk with my hands sometimes, so pardon me. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. So which one are we this week? Which one are we going to be today? Are we going to be the pessimist or are we going to be the optimist? I suppose I could be pessimistic and say that because there aren't that many people on this stream, sometimes there are no people on this stream, that even though I have the opportunity to do this live every day if I want, the fact that I have a milestone of viewers, viewability, and people that just want to come in and watch my content, I could see that as a difficulty to get people to come and sit and talk with me and say things or call in or whatever, right? Or at least just jump in the chat and leave a comment. I could be pessimistic about that. I could actually be pessimistic about that. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be optimistic. And I'm going to say that I'm going to continue to post. I'm going to continue to put my message out there. I'm going to continue to do the things that I have been led to do, just like everybody else has been led to do what they're doing. And those who need to see me, those who like to see me, those who want to listen to me will come. And this is the perfect opportunity for me to mess up and do all kinds of things that I would never want to do in front of a worldwide audience. And probably those people who come back and scroll through my videos, they won't see this. So it's a great opportunity for me to learn live on camera with you guys what I need to do, how I need to do it, where I need to put things, how it needs to be set up so that it can be perfect for me to do what I enjoy doing, which is getting on here and talking with you about different things. And being intentional with my message and with my everything. Just being intentional. So how do we do this? How do we start with something that you may want to do or a goal that you have? Well, you think it through. Think about what you want to accomplish. Think about what kind of platform you want to have. Think about what you can do to grow your situation, your audience. If you want that promotion at work, what can you do to show thyself approved? What can you do? I don't want to say to stand out, but how can you be consistent? How can you show up consistently? That's what will get you noticed. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And sometimes the best way to gauge when you show up is go out for that opportunity. Maybe you don't get it. Maybe it's the wrong time. Get your practice in for what will come your way, right? And let's say you go out for that job and the answer is no, they choose someone else. You don't get the job. Okay? Is that a failure? Well, it's a learning opportunity. Some of us have more learning opportunities than others. And that's because there's a lesson that you haven't gotten yet. There's something you need to learn. There's something you need to unlock. And you're missing it. So when you find it, when you intentionally look for it and make it your business to find it, and you unlock it, then, I mean, you're able to exponentially go where no man has gone before, or whatever. And I think it's important that we remember our intentions and that we go forward with what our intention is. Now, there are some times when life will throw you a bowling ball full of itself and it will knock you off your square, or will threaten to knock you off your square. But baby, depending on what that goal is, depending on how much you want that, depending on your level of focus, it may scrape you up a pretty good one. But once you start to find traction and once you start to move forward, you have to stick with that. And I'm going off on different tangents here. Back to the job. So I work part-time right now. Let's just be fully transparent. One of the companies that I worked part-time for, I wanted a full-time position. I mean, eventually. It wasn't something that I started at the company with the hope for. I'm going to be honest, I started at this job because it was a job and I needed the dough. Got a family to feed, right? I am working part-time, and part-time work is not, it's not terrible, but it's hard to support a family on a part-time income. So this is a past experience, though. This is not real time, so let's take that with a grain of salt. I remember applying for, I remember my immediate manager encouraging me to apply for a full-time position. You know, we've got positions coming up and I think you would be a great fit. That's a quote. Now, I would think that somebody wouldn't say that to you unless it was true, but maybe it's something she said to everyone. I don't know. But I know that I remember applying for this job full-time and doing the interview and then not getting the job. I asked for feedback because the type of individual that I am, you know, I still work for you. So is there any feedback that you could offer me, you know, on the experience or what I could do better to show that I am, you know, that I would be a good fit or that I'm better suited? Oh, well, you know, we just have so many talented people, and because we have all this talent, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, as long as you continue to, you know, meet your expectations, it'll be fine. Very general, right? Not, well, you know, Hasina, your strengths are this, or Hasina, your weaknesses are this. You know, Hasina, I think where you could improve would be this. Nothing of the sort. Okay? And so I applied a second time. Gosh. I forget how much time passed. Maybe 6 months to a year. I applied a second time for the same position. And it didn't happen again. And I needed to reevaluate that because I found myself becoming bitter about it. I felt like I'm doing everything as you are. I'm asking you, I'm doing everything as, it, as you all want it done. And what's happening is nothing. So I think that looking back at it, what happened to me was I got bogged down in the details and I stopped being Hasina, right? Sometimes when you are, now we're talking about intentional and we're talking about a goal and we're talking about sticking with that, right? However, sometimes we can get so bogged down by the details and then also so bogged down by the disappointment in the lack of what we feel is the progress that we want, that it kind of impedes the process, because now your focus isn't what you can do to do better. Now your focus is the rejection or the lack of progress or the lack of approval that you're getting. And here's where the nuance is, because you have to be, you can't get bogged down in that. You have to remember that you want to go forward in this position. For example, you want to be able to do this job full time. You want to make more money or go forward in your career or reach a larger audience. These are the things that you want. And so what you should probably focus on, and what would help, is to focus on, like, okay, I've done this, it feels personal, maybe it isn't, but it feels personal. Oops, sorry. It feels personal. Maybe it isn't, but it is, and it does feel personal. Take the emotion out of it. Get out of that. Recognize it, and then put it where it belongs. What am I doing? I remember I had to actually look at, for myself, what is it that I am doing to make this, my experience, better? In the position that I'm playing right now, what can I do to improve this? How can I present this the way Hasina would present it? And I feel myself improving, because now my focus is not on jumping the hurdle, winning this, winning that. My focus is more internal on, how can Hasina present this? How can Hasina do this and that? And even though my progress is not, my goal hasn't been reached, I can now feel like, well, okay, my goal hasn't been reached yet, but the journey, I can feel my improvements, I can feel my progress, and the journey continues. The journey is moving forward, albeit slowly. It just depends. So I said all of that to say, I said all of that roundabout things to say, when we feel pessimistic, let's think about these things. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. So let's take it back to the jobs. Starting at the ground floor, starting at the bottom rung, starting at the first level. Even when you game, if you're good at the games or whatever, that's great. But even when you game, you start at the first level. You start here. And then some people get caught up in the fact that they don't progress, or that they don't know how to do, or that they aren't as adept at whatever, and they reach a certain level and they fail. And they get caught up in the failure and the emotions surrounding the failure, and it's like, no, you failed, but what is it that you're doing? What is it that you need to change? What is it that you need to update so that you can now move forward with what that goal is? Whatever it is. It could be whatever it is. Oops. Sorry. Was that loud? So I think on this on this midweek temperature check, what we should do is we should take a self-inventory, and we should think about, what are we doing? What can we do differently? What would make this better that I can control? Now, if I don't have control over a lot of things, like for example, when I worked in the call center environment, I had no control over the influx of calls and ringing and blah, blah, blah that would come my way. I had no control over that. But I did have control over my thermostat, and I did have control over my reactions to things. Not just my reactions to what was being said directly in my ears, but maybe my visceral reaction to a coworker who constantly comes and stands up over my desk because he has a crush on me, or a different coworker who thinks that, you know, she's better than me, but my numbers are better than hers. It just, you know, what can I do? For me, it had to become, what can I do on this call that I'm dealing with right now? The only thing is me and this person and their problem. Can I solve it? How can I solve it the way Sina would solve it? These are the things that you have to focus on. You have to really compartmentalize and put that thing in increments. You have to. And you have to do it because in order to move forward, you have to take the emotion out of it and figure out what you can do to improve what you can do so that you can do it. And you can shoot off like a rocket. Don't take that in the wrong context. Please, that's not my goal here. Anyway, that was, where are we? Okay, all right, we in here. But I didn't want to get too carried away, but I think that this is an important thing. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. Speaking of which, now let's bring this up, because I have been surrounded by people like this at times in my life, and it is exhausting and irritating and annoying. Have you ever been around someone, like a friend of yours, who every time you mention, I want to go to the movies, they just see just the bad that can happen or the terrible thing that is about it. It's like, bro. So you have to decide to do one of two things. You're either going to not bring up anything to this person. You're going to keep everything to yourself and don't mention anything to this person that will cause them to open up that can of pessimism and disaster thoughts. Or you can rebuff them and say, every time I bring something up to you, you bring up something negative. Why don't we just nuke the world right now? Like, cut it out. You know, you could do that. Or you could move on with your life and not include that person in it. I don't know which is best, because we all think that we have time, and some people don't like to throw anybody away, and some people feel like move on without the bitch. You know, it just depends. But my younger self would say, move on without the bitch. You don't need her. My older self would say, honey, don't entertain it. whatever that means for you. If don't entertain it for you means move on what I have to be, then, that's what you do. I mean, it's harsh, but some people, that's their personality. Cut off. Kiki. Um, no matter, but now if you are that way, you can't make exceptions and say, oh, but this is my mama. She's a person. You can't make exceptions and then say, oh, but she my sister. Is she the only person that could get away with? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She's a person. Oh, but that my daddy just like that. That's my brother. He's a person. I'm not saying cut him off and don't talk to him. I'm saying move on. Maybe don't include them in the stuff that you need to do to move forward. Maybe don't include them. And some people would say, well, maybe cut them off. I mean, it just depends. Just don't be a victim of manipulation for manipulation's sake. Especially if it's not serving you. That's not something you want to do. I'm giving out just all the I don't know what's gotten into me today. It must be the Bob. Just don't be manipulated for manipulation's sake, especially if it's not serving you. That stuff makes you sick. That stuff makes your body start to betray you. That stuff makes you physically ill. It stresses you out. It's too much cortisol. Don't do it. Why? Just don't do it. Now, depending on when you stop doing it, or if you have rolled back into doing it and you're stopping again, or whatever, people may get in their feelings about it. There may be this imaginary backlash that you feel like you are experiencing because of it. Don't worry about all that. Is it serving you? When I say is it serving you, is it doing something good for you? Is it neutral to you, or is it something negative? Is it causing you anxiety? Is it causing you stress? Is it making you worry? Are you ruminating on it? Then boot it. Boop. And the people that bring it. And don't be around them. If you feel like you're obligated to attend those functions where y'all are together, I'm just saying, if it's your family, then go. Be respectful. Play your role. As somebody respectful, do what you need to do and then move on. Now, if you're the type of person that says you're cut off and I'm done, then be done. And what I'm saying is, don't make exceptions just because someone has a certain imaginary relationship with you. Because sometimes that's your downfall. That is your downfall. That's what makes your life harder. That's what puts you in the headspace to mess up opportunities for yourself that are sent to you by the Most High or the universe or God or Allah, whoever you believe in. You need to be in alignment. In alignment. In alignment. You need to be in alignment. And whatever and whoever is throwing you out of alignment, you need to handle that so that you can be back in alignment. Alignment. You need to be in alignment. Don't be driving the car and the wheel is crooked back to the side. Hold on. Don't be driving the car and the wheel is crooked to the side like this. We going straight, but you out of alignment. That means you wearing your tires out faster. That means that you're messing up your, what did Homer Simpson say? Racking peanut steering. You're messing it up. Like, why would you ride like that? No. Put it in alignment. Get yourself right. Go forward the way you are supposed to. Because as life comes at you, You can't take those curves and make those hairpin turns and do what you need to do. You can tell I like driving, huh? You can't do that with your alignment messed up. Put it in alignment. Period. Period. No, period. We are not being disrespectful, because black people, I feel you. We are not disrespecting our elders. We are not. I need you to come out of that trauma mindset. We are not disrespecting our elders. As a matter of fact, by allowing yourself to be mentally beat down and imprisoned and trapped by certain things, you are disrespecting and out of alignment with everything that those who came before you worked so that you could have the opportunity to do. It's real out here. It's real out here. It's real. So, anyway, we're going to put ourselves back in alignment today, okay? Now, being in alignment and handle that don't mean if your supervisor come up behind you talking crazy, okay? We're not cussing them out. Well, I don't know, depending on what they say. We're not going to go around with the backhand. Boy, we're not choosing violence, okay? Even though, depending on your reaction, they may say you choosing violence. We're not choosing violence, okay? Wait, let me repeat that again. We are not choosing violence. Okay? You hear me? We are choosing alignment. That's what we're choosing. That is what we are choosing. Okay? Well, my daddy used to tell me, honey, take the emotion out of it, Sina. What is the goal? Oof. My daddy was in the military, y'all. And he would break it down and just he'd break it down for you like this. So you can see this is A and this is B. And all of this in the middle, that's the journey. But what happens is, matter of fact, I'm going to have to break out the board for y'all to illustrate that point. But my markers are some of everywhere, and I am not finna be running around this street. Oh, here's a white one. Okay, so we may have to break this down because this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Matter of fact, let me get my light so I can tell you what it is. One second. Y'all don't laugh at my little tutu I got on. Shut up. Okay, hold on. Okay, here I am. What did Medea say? Peace be still, and I keeps me a piece of steel. Listen, we're going to be in alignment, okay? That's what we're doing. Oh, this got old writing and stuff on it. We're going to get in alignment because that's what we need to do. And, you know, there's a guy on YouTube. I've seen some ads of his, and he has this thing where he's like making these diagrams in a little notebook as he's talking to you. So I'm about to do that right now to show you what I'm talking about. And this is just some things that my daddy told me. This is some things my daddy told me. And so this is what we gonna say. Okay. Let me plug my light in. I can't tell you why I got this little display board. I did get it from Amazon. I think that I was looking for something to use as a learning aid with my youngins, because I homeschool them right now. And I was looking for, but it's summer break right now. We're not doing anything. We're reading together daily. So I decided in the summer times that I was going to choose a book the way that they used to have to when they were in school before their little school closed. Oh, I had found it was a nice little private school, and I had found it, and they were there for years, and it was such a nice little school. But of course, they eventually had to close. I don't know what happened. There was some kind of split, and I think the headmistress passed, or I don't know what happened. But anyway, it ended up closing, and it was very sad because it was hard to find. Ooh, this looks terrible. I can't use this. How does that look? Dirty. Yeah, I can't use it. But anyway, what we'll do next time is I'll have this cleaned because I'm not sure where my board cleaner is. I'm rearranging and cleaning the house, right? And we're going to talk about this on another thing. Because when I get to rearranging and cleaning the house and putting things where I think they should go, as I come upon things, it's like now I got to remember, what did I do with everything's in disarray. I was taking, room by room and doing like a declutter, which would probably be good content, right? Except I don't want y'all to see and judge and talk about my house. So we'll think about that. But anyway, I was doing a declutter, and I need to put my stuff for my dry erase boards and the school supplies in one area organized. So that's where I am right now. But I need to show you the diagram, and I want to draw it out. We'll do that on another video. But I say all that to say, and I went all the way around the world and everywhere, to say, sweetheart, this is something my daddy told me. Sometimes you get mired in the emotion and it messes you up. Now, my OCD is not going to let me not use this and show you what I'm talking about using this. I'm letting myself be fully transparent here because anybody else would have let it go. Me and my OCD, honey, I have to show you what I'm talking about. I have to get this board clean. It looks a hot ass mess. I don't know what I'm doing with the controller. Controller. All right, so anyway, it's changing colors, right? But I'm raising this up to say, this is where you are. Okay? This is where you are. Point A. This is where you need to get to. Do that look like a B or do that look like something crazy? I think that's backwards. Anyway, you have to focus even when you can't see the obstacles that are in front of you. Like if there are trees or something, I'm making some weird ass hieroglyphics, but you're going this way, right? And even if you can't see what your goal is over here, all of this, what life throws at you and the emotions that you feel, all of these are offshoots. And believe me when I tell you, even though my daddy said this to me, when he told me this, I was like over here, way off on the offshoot, honey. We'll talk about that offshoot. I was way over here. But you have to stay the course. Like, don't forget what you're doing and why you're doing it. That didn't work out the way I wanted, but if your goal is to feed your family, to find a job, to move up where you're at in your position at your job, to own the company, to start a business, to get your black belt, to become an artist, to publish a book, whatever your goal is, stay the course. Stay it. A lot of times, when you go on one of those offshoots, you may be really close to your breakthrough. It's like walking down a long ass hallway, jumping over the furniture that's strewn about, and right before you get to the door that you have been trying to get to, you take the one on the left. Just because, oh, it's pink, so you go in there. No, dude. No. Pink is pretty. We all want to be at the Pink Pony Club with what's her name with the red hair and all that makeup on. We want to be down there. What's that lady name? I forgot. Anyway, stay the course. I had a friend of a friend one time, and I don't know where he is, but Owen, if you're listening to this, I love you, man. You are cool beans, and I hope that I am sending you good energy, and I hope that things that you hope for and have gone for in your life you have achieved. I hope that you are happy and successful and fulfilled with whatever you're doing, and I know that you are. He had this little painting on the wall, and it said Mantano el curso. I think that's what it said in Italian or Spanish. I don't know. What does it mean? I asked him when we were at his house. He was a little bit stressed out about something, and we came over to, like, just kind of hang out. And I was stressed out about everything. The most relaxed person was the guy I was dating, who really just didn't. Anyway, we ain't going now. But he was the most relaxed and the most comfortable out of the group of us. I asked him, what does it mean? He said, maintain the course. And I was like, huh, brother, it's important. So I'm saying all of that to say to you as I go into as I calm it down a bit. I'm saying all of that to say to you, maintain the course. Keep going. Maintain the course. Maintain the course. See the opportunity in every difficulty. See the opportunity in every difficulty. I don't know, become an opportunist. When bad things happen, see the opportunity in every difficulty. Now, will that make what you are or who you truly are undesirable to some people? Yes, it will. Will it offend some people, though you are not doing anything that is trying to offend? I mean, like, manners-wise, person-wise. Am I being rude? No. I'm just seeing the, let's do this. Oh, but we can do that. The opportunity. Don't let them villainize you for it. Because many people on your journey, Wednesday workers, wanderers, Wednesday wanderlusts, many people on your journey will take offense to the fact that you are not a status quo type of person. Even if most times you are, those times when you aren't, don't let that stop you, and don't let that hold you in place, because you don't know where your journey ends. You don't know. And that fact should propel you, no, that fact should compel you to always maintain the course. Whatever that means for you. So, let's set some intentions for today, friends. Let's choose alignment. That's going to be the intention for today. And I think that you will start to see things differently and experience them differently and be gracious to yourself differently. Do that and then come on back. Let's talk about it next time. I'm going to leave you for the rest of the week. Maybe we'll pop up and do a Friday just to see what's happening. Let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to talking with you again. Thank you for joining me for this brief, not so brief episode of Shift Happens, because we're gearing up or winding down from a busy day. And we want to recharge, rejuvenate, relax. And then move forward with intention. Right?